You're dealing with a formerly high-performing employee whose work is suddenly failing. When you point out the errors, they invent bizarre excuses, and when you show them objective proof, they react with intense, uncharacteristic anger. This behavior points to anosognosia, a neurological condition where the brain is physically unable to perceive its own deficits. The self-monitoring system has failed, leaving the person blind to the reality of their performance. Reporting this as a simple conduct violation is a significant legal risk. If you treat a medical symptom as a standard disciplinary issue, you risk a severe backlash under disability protection laws. Using the clinical observer documentation method shifts the situation from a managerial nightmare to a protected HR process. This approach safeguards the company's output while ensuring the employee receives an appropriate medical referral. To manage this, you must first differentiate anosognosia from standard poor performance. Look at a recent failure and check for 3 specific neurological red flags. The first is confabulation. While a typical low performer makes excuses, a person with anosognosia will invent semi-logical but objectively false stories to explain work gaps. Their brain is filling in the blanks because it cannot process the failure. The second flag is a striking confidence-competence mismatch. The employee will insist their work is perfect, even when the actual output is riddled with basic, documented errors. The final flag is hostility. Because they genuinely believe the errors don't exist, they view your feedback as a lie or a personal attack. This leads to a level of anger that is disproportionate to the professional setting. Identifying these indicators allows you to stop wasting time on useless performance plans. You can now begin a medical accommodative approach that protects the business. Now you must gather the specific data HR needs. Use the LEAP method: listen, empathize, agree, and partner to lower the employee's defenses and keep the conversation productive. Avoid the evidence trap. Never show objective proof like emails or data logs during this talk. The employee's brain will reject the data, triggering a fight or flight response that ends the negotiation. Instead, use tactical empathy to label the emotion. You might say, "It seems like you feel betrayed by the tools you're supposed to rely on." This validates their feelings without agreeing with their distorted version of the facts. Then, use a calibrated question to pivot toward a solution. Ask, how can we bridge the gap between your feeling of success and the data the team is seeing? This forces them to address the discrepancy without feeling interrogated. By refusing the instinct to win an argument, you remain a neutral observer. This allows you to extract the specific, distorted quotes required for the clinical log. Step 3 is constructing the clinical observer log. This is a neutral, emotionless record that focuses entirely on the behavioral gap between the employee's perception and the actual outcome. Under objective event and business impact, record only the facts. Note the missed deadline or the specific error using business metrics and avoid any mention of your own frustration. For the employee response column, use exact quotes only. Do not use medical labels like delusional. Stick to what they actually said. This clinical log is your protection. It transforms a subjective managerial conflict into a clear, legally defensible pattern of behavior for HR to review. With your log complete, draft the escalation email. Your goal is to frame this as a question of capacity, a potential medical disconnect, rather than a conduct issue like insubordination. Start by clearly stating that you are documenting a specific interaction regarding professional conduct. This establishes the necessary paper trail immediately. Describe the disconnect. Use your log to highlight the gap between the employee's verbal account and the objective data, showing that standard coaching is not yielding results. Finally, include the key phrases interactive process and EAP referral. These terms signal that this may be a medical issue protected under disability law. Using this precise language acts as a legal shield. It compels HR to shift from a strategy of termination to one of evaluation and accommodation. When you hit send, you successfully move a sensitive medical behavioral issue out of your hands and into the proper legal channels. HR now takes the lead on medical evaluations and fitness for duty exams. While they handle the legal side, you have one final task as a manager: implement structural accommodations immediately. Use mandatory digital checklists or visual project dashboards to act as an external brain for the employee, protecting the team's output in the interim. By following this protocol, you maintain the dignity of a coworker in crisis while fulfilling your primary responsibility, protecting the business.